Good to see you again. Another story for you. Hopefully, a longer one. You see, when I recall these stories, I never really remember when they end. So even for me, it comes as a surprise when they end early or they don't end for a while. But enough about me. The story of today's man is Rigoberto Cobra Weathers. Cobra being his nickname. 20 years old, 175 centimeters in height, a veteran of a faction known as Legion. Originally from the West, some members have gone to the East here in New England, Rigoberto being one of them, but we shall call him Cobra for now. A killer drive he gained from being part of the Legion. Plus, when he was recruited, they discovered he was a bit of a masochist. He was quite sensitive to pain, yet he also had got a certain thrill from it. He tended to get thirsty quite often, hence why he was not deployed in the West, but he was more suited for the East. He healed more slowly, and he was not a very fast reader. His skills, though, were quite remarkable with his melee combat, his marksmanship, survival, along with a few other skills. It was also noted he had a bit of a unique interest in the arcane, which seemed to have come about during the Cataclysm. Unfortunately, though, for Cobra, he was in a bad spot. He missed the evacuation. He was stuck in a large building, or should I say, on a large building full of the risen dead. More specifically, an apartment at the very top of one. He stepped up through the door, and sure enough, there was trouble. He did have a weapon, the Colt Rangemaster. A .223 semi-automatic rifle. However, though, he knew that it was way too loud for it, though. He equipped his Gladius and put back on the Rangemaster. Looking around, he could see a few creatures. A crawling zombie, one particularly tough-looking specimen of a zombie, perhaps a former athlete, but more concerning, 2 stray creeplers. It reminded him of the fact that the Xenoids had invaded as well. He saw another creepler and a rather fat-looking zombie as well. He did note that they seemed to be confined via a chain link fence, though no doubt they would break soon under their assault. He also noted a nearby reconnaissance drone nearby. He was aware of him, but seemed to be uninterested in him. A few steps down revealed another creature, a swimmer zombie, who happened to be on the outside of the fence. He noticed one of the stray creepers down there seemed to have gotten around the fence on the railing. He wasn't interested in it at the moment, though. He also noted another tough zombie on the rooftop. Sitting on the railing, it seemed to be trying to fight one of the reconnaissance drones. One swift blow with his Gladius took down the swimmer zombie. A quick look down there revealed one of the creepers being lying there dead. Fat zombie was only lightly injured, and he saw one of the creepers seem to be fleeing from it. He watched for a bit, seeing what the creatures would do. Another creeper died, and he watched as the tough zombie and the fat zombie converged on the last creeper. The tough zombie was heavily injured, while the fat one was only lightly so, while the creeper was bleeding heavily, was fleeing, and looked heavily injured. He watched for a bit. Finally, they took down the creeper. All the zombies were quite injured, and for the moment it seemed they were busy trying to bash down the defense. He took a look around up top to see where that other tough zombie was, but he did not see it anywhere. He knew that it couldn't have left the area without him seeing, but he was quite confident that it had fallen off the building. He waited for a bit. You can see that right now they were trying to take down the fence. He decided that he didn't want to wait any longer. He opened the fence, and he readied himself. The fat zombie stepped a little too far and was downed, while the tough one merely stepped in the doorway. One slash killed it. That one approached. A swing and a miss, a blow, another one, and he downed it. He waited for the last zombie to crawl over before promptly killing it. With the rooftop clear, he promptly smashed the corpses like he had been taught. These creatures, he did not want these creatures getting back up. He stepped around the fencing and pulped the last corpse. In the pockets of one of the creatures was a pocket survival guide, which he immediately grabbed. He stepped back into the building where he once was. It was full of some machinery and what looked like an old broken generator, and an old console that was also broken. He skimmed through the survival guide for a bit. Downstairs led to the apartment. He figured now he might as well head down and try to see what he can do. It was quite dark down there. The lights were not working, obviously, due to there being no power. Carefully opened the door, stepped out and looked around. To his immediate north was a zombie child and a tough zombie. He didn't really care about the zombie child. Having grown up in the Legion, he had seen and committed his fair share of horrid things. He noticed a headlamp on the tough zombie he had just killed. No doubt, something that would be no doubt useful. You'd have to clean it though. He wasn't really keen on wearing something so filthy. He noticed in the nearby mailboxes and looked through some of the newspapers. But most of it was just old news that he already knew about. Got a book talking about Birdhouse Monthly. Interesting. He grabbed the candy cigarettes off the zombie child. More newspapers. Not much else. Something about dancing. He was not interested in this whatsoever. And a book about buying cars. He tried the doors. Two of them, nothing, nothing, still nothing, nothing. It was clear that most of these doors were locked. He decided not to waste any time. Using his gladius, he smashed the door in. You could see through it, but it wasn't quite broken. Another blow took it down. A quick exploration revealed no one was inside. What she was happy about. He saw some leather pants and a sweater. There was a leather jacket. Found some duct tape and some more clothing. There was a balcony that led outside. It was a rather nice day out, and it was a bright day. It being just morning, of course. Looking through the library, he saw a whole bunch of novels. Westerns, war novels, tragedy, thriller, swashbuckling, spy novel, sports, sci-fi, satire, samurai, romance, pulp, mystery, horror, experimental, erotic, and crime. No doubt he could keep himself entertained for a while, but he wasn't interested in that at the moment. Inside the kitchen, he found a hammer, of all things, which he grabbed, along with some crackers, peaches, raw lasagna, and raw macaroni. Tasty alphabets in sauce, in a tin can. Some grapes, a tin can of split pea soup, some pickled fish in a sealed jar, and a waffle iron for cooking. In a cupboard, he found some canned salmon, some canned chicken and dumplings, graham crackers, maple syrup, and sugar. Checking inside the bathroom, found a first aid kit. No doubt this would prove useful. He did have some healing powder, but he decided to get the contents of the first aid kit out. Inside was some antiseptic, aspirin, bandages, medical gauze, a saline solution, medical tape, and a booklet on first aid. Sitting by a window, he opened up the first aid book and began to read it. He wasn't necessarily a fast reader, but he took his time studying what was inside of it.